We're going to be looking at the financials of Vegreville, like we have in previous years. We're going to be looking at our indebtedness, because it's everybody's indebtedness. We're going to be looking at land development, our general activity, and we'll look at that later and define it a little better, assessment and taxation, contracted services that we provide to others, Vegreville population, trending, volunteers, and our projects for 2012. First of all, let's get into this Vegreville's vision, which has been around for a number of years. Our vision is that Vegreville is a progressive community, and we will promote steady, continual growth in population, business, and industry. Our commitment is to ensure a clean, friendly, and safe environment with an abundance of facilities and services to satisfy people's needs and enhance their quality of life. To be general when we put it together, general now, but I think it still hits the mark. When we talk about commitments that the town council has to commit to by offering themselves as a candidate and then being elected, is that we have to look at Property Assessment Review Board. We have to look at the MD of Minburn Foundation, which runs the Homestead Lodge. You have to be a member on that. Vegreville Economic Development Board, Vegreville District Chamber of Commerce, Community Futures, Elk Island Region, Northeast Alberta Hub. This is a REDA, a Rural Economic Development Alliance for the East Central portion of the province. The Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association, which is an advocacy group for Highway 16. And that Highway 16 is pretty important for us. And we have to advocate for its safety and going forward into the future. Vegreville District FCSS Advisory Board. Thank you so much. Vegreville Centennial Library. Northern Lights Library System Board, which is the regional library system that assists our board in supplying materials and information and really technical detail. The Vegreville District Police Advisory Committee advising the RCMP in our area. Vegreville Regional Museum Board, St. Joseph's General Hospital Community Board, Vegreville Region Physician Attraction and Retention Committee, Zoning and Subdivision Authority, Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, Vegreville Regional Airport Committee, Land Use Committee, Intermunicipal Development Planning Committee. This is a plan that's being developed between Vegreville and the county surrounding us, the county of Midway. The Capital Region Vegreville Corridor Water Services Commission. They deal with our pipeline that supplies potable water to the town of Vegreville. And finally, Vegreville Regional Solid Waste Management Committee. This is just being set up between the town of Vegreville and portions of the county of Midway to deal with their solid waste. They have no longer, or very soon no longer, landfills, whereas we do. And so they're keenly interested in something like this. Financials. This is our cash position or liquidity for the last number of years. And in 06, you can see we were about 2.1 million. 07, 1.2 million. 08, 5.3 million. 09, 5.9 million. 10, 6.7. And 11, we ended up at 8.4. So you can see there's a steady rise. The drop at the beginning of this thing was due to our investment in the West End, which has returned in spades. And so anytime we make an investment of your money, which is held in trust via GACs and any other vehicle, if it's spent wisely, this is what can happen. And we want to continue doing this. Debenture debt. We all have debt. Every time we buy a house, when we first marry or first buy a house, you're going to get a mortgage. This is a debenture. A debenture is a mortgage that the town takes out to actually support and fund projects. We then pay it back over time, like you would a mortgage, and so on. So in 08, 2.7 million, 9, 3.7, 10, 3.4, 11, 3.1. And some of the breakdown for the expenditure aspects of 11, you can read it there. Capital Works programs at almost 1.2 million. Land purchase, the property just south of Walmart, east of what was the Alberta Research Council, now AITF. Capital Works projects on 49th Street and 49th Street. These Capital Works projects, you can see there, they're quite costly, and per block of upgrade, power, water, sewer, pavement, sidewalks, is getting up to the best part of $1 million per block. It's really costly to do. So, but we need to do it, and we need to do it in a cyclical way to keep our town ahead of the game of falling apart. I think you'll, in 2012, we're going to see an increase in debenture debt because we purchased the Trans-Canada building in the West End, and we're upgrading it. We're also upgrading the town building as we currently know it to accommodate the RCMP who are expanding. And so all of these things take money. But they're an investment for the future. These things have, beyond today, they'll have another 30-year life cycle on top of them. So for $10, $12 million, that's not a bad investment for that kind of time. Others, there's been a few in town that disagree with that. Land development. We're dealing with it now with the Aqua Electric. They've expanded their warehousing and storage yard, as we all know, behind the high school, south of Walmart area there. Land use bylaws in its final stages. Our land use bylaw is very large, and we went over it word by word. It's taken a long time. But it's worth it because the land use bylaws, we currently have it, goes back a number of years, and really there's not been a significant update for a number of years. So we felt it's time to look at this and to bring it up to future standards and requirements. Municipal development plan, in its final stages, it will be taken through council shortly. The intermunicipal development plan, we started out on this with the county of Midway, and it's scheduled to be completed at the end of this year. It's also a slow process. We have to both understand each other's points of view on the adjoining properties too, say the town of Vegreville. And of course the Coleman Inn and Suites, which is a nice addition to this town. I think anybody that's stayed there has favorably commented on its amenities and its service. General activity, you can see residential starts are down this year, and I think it's it's an impact of general economic activity roundabout. I mean, it's way down from what we had in 2008, which was a huge peak, and you can see it slowly drifted down, and you can see the building permits on average following that trend too. Not to say that in 2012 we'll be at 7. Hopefully we've doubled that by then, but time will tell. This is a historic thing, right? Like the museum. Taxable assessment. You see there's been some changes here. Comparing 2011 2012, our residential has gone from 488 million to 500 million. Non-residential 197 million to 215. And you can see that the relative ratio of the residential versus non-residential is about the same, 70-30. And this seems to hold true over the past number of years. The value goes up, but the ratio stays the same. Taxation. That's probably why most of you are here. 2012, the property taxes, the total levy, have increased by 5.5%, approximately $400,000. This is over what we saw in 2011. The 2012 education requisition set by the provincial government has increased 12% for the Vegreville area over 2011. So there's two components to our tax rates, as you saw in the previous slide, is the residential and the non-residential, and they're different. And the mill rates for them are set. We haven't set the mill rate.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. I thought that was mill rate. Our contracted services, we supply a lot of contracted servicing to others around, not just the county of Winnipeg. We supply family and community support services, FCSS, particularly to the county of Winnipeg and western portions of it. Management of the boys' water system, and library services, and this is open to most people. Landfill services. We're one of the few landfills in the area that's still licensed. Fire protection, recreational services, by law enforcement, ambulance services. Ambulance services is really supported 100% by the provincial government. We are just the managers of the service, and we receive it, manage it, and make sure that the service is rendered in the proper way. Discussions are currently ongoing between us and the county of Winnipeg to involve their residents in our recycling program. That's not been formally done, although I'm sure many of you have seen county residents using our facilities. But that's under no agreement, that we just do it for convenience sake. Population is trending. Now this is really interesting. And if you look at the figures on the left-hand side there, 2001, by federal survey, we were 5,376. 2006, again by federal survey, we were 5,520. 2009, we did our own, and we were a lot more detailed. We were 5,834. This past year, the federal census came in at 5,717. Vegreville is shrinking, folks. And we don't believe they are. We don't believe this place is shrinking at all. I mean, we're seeing a lot of activity here. We're seeing a lot of people moving in. And so we're conducting our own census this year, starting very soon. Volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers in this town, and just yesterday we had the volunteer appreciation lunch. It was well attended, and it went for approximately 3 hours anyway, maybe 4 hours. And I know that I and Councilor Torshanko were serving pizza. She was serving the chicken pizza, and I was serving the pepperoni pizza. And many of you don't understand the significance of that.
We're here for 300.
Yeah, a little over, right?
Yeah, it's around 300, 325.
Yeah. Some of our projects for 2012. One of our core services, and this really means some purchasing, renovation, making things a lot more effective. The RCMP detachment, the old town hall is going to become the RCMP detachment in a big way. The only portion in there which is not going to be RCMP will be FCSS. And so they will probably take over in terms of area, I would say about 80%, 75 to 80% of the building. We're also looking at 49th Street, the 4100 block is in the south end, that's a keyhole present. We've had trouble there for a number of years. We're looking at 47th Avenue, a half block west of 49th Street. And this is that small piece of road that goes into the spray park. And we need to repair that road, put in water, sewer, and pavement, so better accessibility for that park, which is very popular. We need to put in airport runway lighting. Our lighting is somewhat historic, it doesn't work. And so we have to either have cars lining the runways for nighttime landings. Recycling and compost bins, we're expanding that project. And you've probably seen in some back alleys we have compost bins where we can put in our garden wastes in particular and small materials. And it goes out to our landfill currently. But we've also, if you go down to the next one, the organic waste, which is including that compost. Now, an agreement with Growing Power Harry Hill north of here, and they will be using our compostable material, which is a good way to get it out of our landfill, prolong the life of our landfill, give them something that they're making power with, which we can use, all of us. And so I think it's a very good synergy between the town and the business. We're also working with Alberta East Central Water Corporation. This is the water line that comes off our water line that runs east of here. And they have to maintain a reservoir here, and water quality parameters have to be considered and maintained. And we're offering our services to look after that for them, because we have licensed people in town to look after the distribution of potable water. Downtown tree guards, you've probably seen downtown now that the trees, so many of the trees are surrounded with red survey tape. We've taken out the tree guards and the grates, and they're getting repainted black, and they're going to be replaced in the next little bit, just to spruce up downtown. The green ones are getting a little older.
The benches are great.
Yes, they were. The benches, yeah. It's just an ongoing thing. Additional projects, we're pulling in one additional community peace officer. We find the need is increasing. It's got to the point of being almost critical, so we have to hire somebody else to help out our current peace officer. We're developing a new Town of Vegreville website, and it's been needed for a while. An outdoor fitness park will be put in. The location is not entirely known yet. This will be somewhere if you're out walking, jogging, there'll be some fitness gear which will withstand the outdoors, so you can actually do a little bit of work. The Lions Community Spray Park, continued development. We're looking between the spray park and the library, putting in this gazebo going in there and a children's play park as well. So that whole downtown area is getting rechanged, much more family friendly. Vegreville's Emergency Services Building, our fire hall, that site there needs, we have drainage issues there, we have to get that prepared before it gets to the point of having to redo the floor of the whole building and those kinds of. The former medical clinic and the shopping center here, we own the lease in that one. We're looking at our future plans for that to put in economic development and the chamber and possibly community futures. Because the old town hall building west of the post office is pretty old and it's pretty inefficient, and it may well be gone somewhere else sometime in the future. Again, turnover. Community Investment Fund, we're looking at a new program here of getting community money into an investment situation where our local money can be invested in new businesses that need help, with an eye toward making a few dollars from this investment. So just started, and details are not really well known right now. So. Position recruitment and retention, that's ongoing. And of course, as I mentioned, our municipal census will be up. Shortly, people will be up. Just to go back a bit to the additional peace officer, we're doing a lot more contract work with communities around us offering bylaw services. And it's always been a bit of a balancing act having our peace officer taking care of those contracts versus actually doing his work in town. And so having an additional person will really assist in that balance. So what are we looking at buying this year? We're spending your money. And we're looking at a communication upgrade. A communications upgrade for the emergency services people. We're buying a hydrovac and sewer cleaning unit. Our town is getting bigger, our sewers are getting longer, we need to have that ability to keep them working properly. We're purchasing a highway trailer for recycling. We're recycling a lot more here. We need to haul those recycled goods to areas that, or companies that purchase materials like newsprint, like cardboard and so on. We're also looking at a portable storm line steamer. So this is when you have your pipes in the springtime are frozen, the water's running, and all of a sudden you have flooding. And we use these steamers to steam out the pipes so that they drain properly. Many of these purchases, in fact, likely, well, 90% of them are going to be government funded under the Municipal Sustainability Initiative. Downtown Market continues this year with 3 markets, and they will be on June 23rd, August 11th, September 8th. We do have a beautiful town here, and most people are saying it's getting more beautiful. And I don't know, it's up to us to keep this thing rolling. And we were also hoping that our residents and business people promote our town positively to those around, because it'll do nothing but help our ability to grow. And so I think we really do have a lot to offer. And I think we have to, all of us, say exactly that. And that, come on in. We're ready to roll. And the more people we have, the more people we get. And we are becoming a local hub in this East Central region. And I think it can get better. And it's better for everybody. It's better for businesses, better for services. So I think I'm probably going to leave it there. I wouldn't take any questions. So thank you for your attention. And we'll take more questions.